Hey everyone, welcome to Stillwater, Oklahoma. We are here for this Saturday's game of West Virginia at Oklahoma State on Saturday afternoon at 2:30 p.m. Central Time at Boone Pickens Stadium. So we're excited to be here. Let's go ahead and get started with this week's picks. Last week we went 6-4, so let's see if we can do a little bit better this week. So this week we're going to start off with an ACC matchup. We have Pittsburgh traveling to Wake Forest. Pitt is a pretty good team. There's a good chance they're going to win their division in the ACC and move on to the ACC championship game, where they will probably lose to Clemson. But in the meantime, I do think Pitt has a good team. I think they will be able to go into Wake Forest and win that game this week. So I'm picking Pitt over Wake Forest for our first game. Our next matchup has another ACC team when number 12 Syracuse travels to number 3 Notre Dame. Notre Dame is one of those teams that almost all season I've been picking against them. I still think Syracuse is going to give them all they can handle, but I'm tired of going against them and losing. So this week I'm actually going to pick Notre Dame to win at home over Syracuse in a close matchup. Our next game is another ACC matchup. We have Duke playing at number 2 Clemson. Duke is one of those teams that's kind of going under the radar this season. They're 7-3. They have a pretty good team, but Clemson has a much better team. So as usual, I think Clemson will go in and roll and beat Duke at home. Our next game is an SEC matchup where UAB plays at Texas A&M. So this is the week where most of the SEC teams play teams that don't matter. But you can't really say that about UAB this year. UAB is a really good team. They are 9-1 on the season. They are number 25 in one of the polls this week, and just outside the poll in the other one. So Texas A&M better watch out, because UAB is going to give them all they can handle. But I am going to go ahead and stick with Texas A&M playing at home at Kyle Field to beat UAB this week. Our next game is the SEC matchup. Missouri is traveling to Tennessee. Tennessee is a team that has looked a lot better over the past 3 or 4 weeks. They pulled out a couple upsets. They totally blew out Kentucky last week. And I think they're going to go and win this game too at home over Missouri. Missouri struggled a little bit over the past couple weeks. So I'm picking Tennessee over Missouri. Our next game is going to be another fun matchup in the American Conference. We have number 24 Cincinnati at number 11 UCF. UCF still has that long winning streak going on, but the last couple of weeks they've really struggled to put teams away. And I think they're going to struggle again this week. And honestly, I'm picking Cincinnati in this one. I think Cincinnati only has 1 loss on this season. I think they will go into UCF and they will pull off the upset and they will end UCF's long winning streak. Our next matchup is a Big 12 matchup. We have number 16 Iowa State traveling to number 15 Texas. Iowa State is on its first ever 5-game conference win streak, like ever, which is so impressive. I've been on the Iowa State bandwagon for the past year and a half or so, and I think that Iowa State's winning streak is going to continue this week, especially with the way that Texas has been struggling the last 2 or 3 weeks, especially on the defense side of the ball. I'm going to pick Iowa State to go into Austin and pull off the win over Texas this week. Our next matchup, we're going to the West Coast. We have San Diego State traveling to Fresno State in a Mountain West matchup. These are 2 really good Mountain West teams. It's going to be hard to pick which one is going to win. So in those circumstances, I always pick the home team. And the home team this week is Fresno State. So I'm going to pick Fresno State to win over San Diego State in the Mountain West. Our next matchup is a Pac-12 matchup. We have Arizona State traveling to Oregon. Oregon is one of those teams that I've kept picking almost all season long, and most of the time it's come back to bite me. So this week I'm switching it up. Instead of picking for Oregon, I'm going to be picking against them. I think Arizona State can go into Eugene and pull off the win over Oregon. So Arizona State over Oregon in the Pac-12. And finally, our last matchup of the week is a Big 12 matchup. It's the game that I'm here in Stillwater for this week. We have number 9 West Virginia here playing Oklahoma State at Boone Pickens. I think this is going to be a very close matchup. Oklahoma State on the offensive side of the ball just has a lot of firepower. I think they're going to be able to run up the score a little bit on West Virginia, but West Virginia is just an offensive powerhouse also, so I think it's going to be a pretty high-scoring game. Ultimately, I think West Virginia's defense is going to have a couple more stops than Oklahoma State's defense. So this week, I'm going to pick West Virginia to win at Oklahoma State in our game in Stillwater this week. So I will be there. I will be taking some pictures and making some notes along the way. So be sure to follow along at cfbroadtrip.com. And all my trips from this season are out there. Hawaii, Iowa State, Central Michigan, Western Michigan road trips are all posted. And then we'll post Oklahoma State in a week or so. So thanks everybody for following along this entire season. Enjoy the games this weekend, and we'll talk to you later.